the deck, you think of it as more of a late game toolbox kind of deck.
Yeah,
But
I've not really seen Granblue like pop off that fast.
Yeah.
But that new stride is just when they're able to turbo mill, get the navigator set up right. It's very oppressive early game for a deck that's kind of more meant to be late game.
yeah, so I think the what's going to end up happening now is Riley's obviously going to go first so that he can get to his grade 3
Yeah,
and
actually
get as
get
much
the
cards as he
Vanquisher,
can in
yeah.
his hand. And we know that once Vanquisher hits getting onto the Vanguard circle, that the deck is able to pop off.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
I think the thing that happens for Jerrold's deck is you need to know exactly what you need in your hand. And if you have multiple cards that say the same thing, then it helps.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, obviously, like if you have a card that's like Navigator, where it mills 5. Yes, correct. On the draw, Jerrold's deck is a little bit more fragile because you are opened up to G-Guard. You're opened up to actually have cards in your hand. You're able to build up what you would like to do
Yes.
to defend against it. And we all know if you're playing Narukami and you know Narukami's G-Guards, they are way more board disruptive once you are available to use them.
Yeah, he simply needs to get Thunderstrike 4 or GB1 to have access to the more disruptive cards.
So here we are. Riley's going to grab a full Bronto, I do believe. Yes, correct. Yep. Yeah, because I won't say that they're necessarily dead. It's just obviously when you're going second with Granblue and you're not able to do the whole ride skip, you're not going to want to give Narukami first stride.
Yeah.
So are we gonna? It's gonna be interesting because Jerrold is. That's what we're gonna see is how Jerrold's gonna change his game plan, going second now.
Obviously, we're still going to go into the early navigator. You know, mill our 5.
We are gonna mill 5, and then we are gonna use that crit trigger to draw a card.
Does pull a heal. Not that the heal itself matters, but you know, it's nice to have in hand.
Yes, it is definitely needed to protect the bell because we all know how important that is in Stoicheia itself, is to be able to get rid of the answer to your deck. Obviously, Narukami's bane of the existence, and anything that can interact with the bind zone in general.
Yeah.
So here we do see that Riley is going to grab the Dragoon. So that works well with Vanquisher. And he is just going to pitch it away. I don't think that it's needed right now. I would like to say that that Jagged Shot is probably one of many cards that are almost exactly the same in just Vanguard itself, because Jagged Shot is the Coral Assault for Vanquisher, because, you know, it gets to draw a card, it binds a card. It can possibly call a multi-attacker, and then it goes to Soul, so that it dodges a lot of other decks.
We're getting our navigator back out. Mill us another 5.
So we do see that the OT and ultimately gets milled.
Yeah, a lot of this right now is just standard turbo mill Granblue, just kind of doing its combo, doing its solitaire game.
So here we are. We do see the column board. I do think that this is like the best card in Granblue, besides the Navigator. But being able to selectively mill whatever you want and then be able to call a card.
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody misses that. So you missed that format, the Zarzan format.
Not in the game for that.
So what Zarzan, and we can add Temptosphere onto that sentence as well.
Now I do know about Temptosphere.
So Zarzan and Temptosphere were one and the same. Basically, Zarzan was able to give you GB1 whenever you wanted, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And then Temptosphere was just the order version of that.
Yeah. So he does heal down to 0. And Riley will go to, actually to 2. He does hit a heal himself. So he will stay at 2. It's not bad, you know. He gets to ride up.
So here we are. We are going into the Vanquisher turn,
He gets to breathe.
Yep, he gets to breathe. That he's not going to basically die to the huge hypermill strategy.
Mm-hmm. However, the heal definitely was kind of an insult to injury thing, in that Jerrold is at 0. You know,
So
definitely has a lot of work to do.
Here we are. Riley is opting to go into Stunverse.
Jerrold preemptively getting the cards.
Which I do think that he's just going to choose 4 triggers, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure he has enough in drop to do so. I think he'll probably hold on to the stands if he can, but like, yeah, the OT.
Even knowing that you're not playing against Eradicators, which you're going to get the more value off of Stunverse, you are just going to get into the habit of finding just cards that don't matter.
Well, especially in this case where he has so many in drop. Yep. He has plenty of choices, to where he can still comfortably hold on to the stands.
So here we are. He's using Vanquisher's effect, which he's going to bind and then call.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know that everybody can't see the card because of the glare, but it was the grade 2. The grade 2, like... there we go. Move it in just so you can get the idea of what it is.
It's a bit unfortunate. It is directly under a not centered light, so the glare is a little rough sometimes. But
yeah, we can easily make out with the card. So it is the Raksha, the grade 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we do hit a crit. So that's going to give Jerrold 2 damage.
Yes.
And I do think that the thing that Riley has to take into account is what is going to the damage zone. because that's now something that you don't have to deal with being on the board.
Yeah.
And here we are. We are going to be binding full Bronto, which his effect is going to go in so that he's going to make another Excel marker and get another Vanguard swing. And Vanquisher is going to give 10k, I do believe, to the front row. I do think the way that Riley has his field set up makes it a little bit more manageable to know that your Excel markers are in the front row.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. We're swinging with the Vanguard. This is going to be 22 with 1 drive.
Super terrifying.
So here we are. Jerrold's going to go into a G guard.
Yeah, we did know he had one here because he didn't drive check.
Yep. So we are using the new G guard, which it does give -1 crit to something for every 10 cards in your drop zone.
Yeah. So I don't think that Vanquisher's dealing damage.
So we do hit the over trigger, which is going to restand.
Yeah.
Since the Vanguard is not hitting, I do think that this is the correct move, is giving 100 mil to somewhere else.
Yeah, and now we're just fishing for crits for something.
So we are going to get another drive, though. So he is going to get another card in hand to defend whatever Jerrold is going to go against for the next turn.
Yeah.
So Jerrold is...
Was the does the G guard only minus crit till end of battle?
No, it's still end of turn.
Oh,
I
'cause
think.
it looked like he still took damage from the.
It might be end of battle. Let me...
It looked like he still took 1 damage from the.
I'll take a
Vanguard,
look.
But it should have still been -1. It'd make more sense if it was end of turn.
Remember, everybody, if you are not sure of a card, look it up.
Mm-hmm. Or if it's right in front of you, pick it up.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell if he took the one, like if he early, just early took the one from a rear guard, if that was taking it from.
Till the end of battle.
Oh, until the end of battle. So he did take one from the Vanguard. Interesting.
So here we are. Jerrold is going to go to 5 damage with 3 cards left in deck. And we are going to see what Riley can do to defend against this next turn.
Yeah, because you know it's going to be explosive.
So the one thing that we do know is in Jerrold's soul is the bane of Narukami's existence.
Mm-hmm.
We do see Jerrold thinking about his turn. He is going to ride into Beatrice, soul blasting out the known sleeve tugging bell,
Yeah.
and he is going to get his protect marker. But he's going to call sleeve tugging bell, and he's going to return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards back. So she is going to get plus 40.
Very, very oppressive card in the matchup.
We are going to stride into Bartholomew.
Why not, right? It's Crystal Luster, but bluer.
It's a very easier thing to get to in the sense of it for a first stride, though.
Yeah, you can get to like that. That's the insane thing to me is that there's no GB lock on Bartholomew, and they have the tools to be able to first stride 3-card guard restrict.
So he has 2 Negro Bones in hand that he's going to be able to freely use right now.
Yeah, he has the stand, so he's got 1.
So the Protect marker is basically going to be able to buy for one of the Negro Bones to just be a free +1 into the deck and free call on board. Also, a thing to note is if Jerrold plays this right, he's gonna make the G guard, the GB1 G guard for Narukami, kind of irrelevant if he keeps his board kind of around the same number as Riley.
Yeah.
So here we are seeing Scaredick hit the board.
At this point, there's kind of no reason not to. It's going to become such a massive attack. And then the other side will be large as well because Steve's Wrecking Bell already got plus 40k from her own effect. Just quickly clarifying, going over a quick explanation of what the skill does, explaining.
I do think that Jerrold is trying to go through his basis, make sure that if he does choose to go in, that he's not going to be punished for it.
Yeah, he's in a very tight spot where he needs to make sure that whatever he chooses to do is correct, and if he commits to something and then realizes that there is a flaw in the line, he may end up losing to his own deck outright. So
he is going to call Nightstorm,
he's running through the process in his head, making sure the steps he's taking are the correct ones.
Which Nightstorm is going to be an attack extender for the turn. Obviously, we do know that Beatrice is a card, and we would like to assume that Beatrice is in the drop.
I believe there's like 2. I think that I've seen at least 2 of them.
He has one. He rode 1, so we know that there was 1.
I believe there's 1 more.
And he did just pass it, so we do know that it's in there. And he just said that he has 30 exact, I do believe.
I think it's at 33.
33, okay.
Either way, he definitely has enough for Barbell.
So I think they asked for a trigger count. So he's just going through it real quick.
They have plenty of time left in the round still, so no issue there.
So he does have 10 open in his drop, I do believe. I think he has 2 of the crits in his soul. I see 1. And then we know that he hit a trigger that's in his damage zone right there.
Yeah.
So he just said we have 15 of them revealed.
So there's, out of the 4 cards left in the deck, there is a single trigger. I'm not sure what it is because I can't make out the exact lineup that we've seen. It may be a heal, it may be a crit.
So he is thinking about using this Dancing Cutlass. So it does look like that Jerrold has chose the best optimal play in his mind.
To the attack, and it does.
So this attack is 47 plus 11, so it's 58 with 3 card guard restrict.
He does choose to go to 3. Might as well. You have plenty of room.
So at end of battle, he is going to be calling out a card. You would like to think that the ever faithful companion of Granblue is coming out. Which we are seeing Columbard, maybe. So we do see Beatrice coming down on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So he is going to Soul Blast 1, call a card from drop.
There's a Skull Drag coming out. $86K Skull Drag.
80, just a casual 86k.
Yeah, casual 86K rear guard. No booster.
Riley is just weighing his options.
Just watching this game in disgust.
So we are just correcting that the Skull Dragon does die after the attack.
I did not hear how big the scare deck was.
So I do believe that it is. So it did
It's
just get.
32 or well now 33 in.
It doesn't matter for the Scare Deck. Scare Deck just gets plus 30 and a crit. So I do believe this is 43.
Oh right, yeah, it's not. It's a fixed one. So we're getting another skull out. And we're getting the stand.
It's going to be plus 5 with whatever Skull Dragon is.
I believe it would be
Well, it was 86, went to the drop.
86. I think it's effectively plus 1 and drop, so I think it's 93.
Well, no, he. So what he did was he sacked, then he called 3.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was a Scare Deck going back. So it's
Scared
really
going back, and then
so
the Beatrice
minus 2.
going back.
So it's a minus 1.
So it's minus 1. not
So it's
plus 1.
84, I do believe, right now. Plus 5.
So 89.
Yeah.
Either way, a very, very,
Very absurd number for a rear guard.
a hard to guardable, you know?
Yeah.
Not an unblockable, just a hard to blockable.
So we are going to see Riley go to 2 rear guards, which is going to trigger
Yeah, the extra retire.
the extra retire off of.
So first step is
So we
retire.
retire bind.
And bind.
So it's funny that Sleep Tugging Bell is the one going to the bind zone now.
Yeah, ironic. And he has one more rear guard than.
And so, yes, he does still have to choose one more. Well, no, because he went down. So he's at 2, and the G guard has to be at 2 or more.
Yeah.
So
he
your
shouldn't have
opponent.
to
So no, it's just 1.
if he needed to intercept another one.
Yeah,
Before placing the G guard.
which we have a full Bronto on the board, so that's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
it physically cannot happen.
So this is a 5K.
So he hits the stand. kind of awkward to hit the stand. You know, everything's done. Double checking what the
So
actual
this
one to
does
press
hit.
was. Yeah.
So we are going to draw a card and give 10K. We are going to swing with a number.
A number. We believe 89.
And you would like to think that if anything has to get retire bound or anything, that the stand trigger is going so that he can get this Skull Dragon back on the board. So here we are. We see Riley having to take 6 damage, and we do see that Granblue